Mom talks sports now. Mommy talks sports. Mommy talks sports. Mommy talks sports.
Welcome. This is Macho Talk Sports episode 4. I'm your host, Macho. I'm here with my boy Daniel Flores. Daniel, how you doing, buddy?
What is going on, man? Always a pleasure, always an honor. I am doing great, man. Just getting over a sickness, but uh, football cures all is what I hear.
That's a fact. That is a fact. That is the best medicine that a doctor could prescribe right now. We got week 1 right around the corner. We got a little bit of a teaser with these preseason games, but we need the real deal. We
Yes.
need the real deal. Enough of this appetizer stuff. So we are going to jump right into it. Obviously, the biggest news happening is something that just happened recently. That's going to be this Parsons trade. The Cowboys traded Micah Parsons to the Packers, or should I say Michael Parsons, to the Packers for a 2026 and a 2027 first round pick and Pro Bowler Kenny Clark. So my first question for you is, when this trade went down, what was your initial thoughts, and then also how do you think that this is going to affect both teams in the future?
So my initial thoughts was I couldn't believe that an organization such as the Packers were like willing to make this type of move. It's one, you're paying him a bunch of money. Two, the Packers don't operate like this at all. So they saw their opportunity, they took action, and on the flip side, Jerry Jones, after all this, no, we had a done deal via handshake. Yeah,
Handshake
it's
agreement.
yeah, I couldn't believe to where okay, Jerry Jones took the L, right? And now he's claiming otherwise, but we uh we shall dig into that a little bit deeper here in a few.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Ever since the trade has happened, he's been trying to talk his way into making peace with it and telling the franchise how this is the greatest move for them in the future, and how this is gonna that the plan hasn't changed. We're still going for a Super Bowl and all that. So, how we'll start from the Cowboys' perspective. How do you think that this affects the Cowboys this year?
It immediately makes them worse. I mean, they I didn't have high expectations for them anyways. I have the Eagles way ahead of them. I have the Commanders way ahead of them. I'm not gonna say the Giants. I'm sorry.
Pump breaks.
yeah, they're sorry, Giants fans. But anyways, the Cowboys, they were still gonna finish third in the division. This does not put them over again the Commanders or the Eagles. It doesn't move them in the NFC whatsoever. It honestly makes it worse. They're losing a generational talent in Micah Parsons, a dude that just wrecks the game from the defensive side of the ball, and just his high motor. It's just they're going nowhere and fast. And honestly, it looks like they're going to continue the trend of not doing anything,
Mhm.
just like they've done the last 20 to 25 years.
That's for sure. And then when we go to the Green Bay Packers, getting somebody like Micah Parsons on that defense, how do you think that that affects the Packers? Does that make them Super Bowl contenders in your eyes?
So, Super Bowl contenders, no. I still have my questions and doubts on Jordan Love, and especially their receivers. They don't all of them. They don't really catch balls. It looks like they drop more than they catch balls. They did get a stud rookie, but that doesn't move the needle for me either.
Mhm,
Their defense is pretty steady. Now it's going to
mhm,
get even better. They did generate a lot of pressures where
mhm,
they couldn't get to the quarterback.
mhm,
Micah Parsons obviously can get to the quarterback, so their defense will be solid. But I mean, the NFC North, you have the Lions, you have heck, even the Vikings with that high-powered offense, and their defense is sneaky good.
mhm.
Um, it's I don't think they'll be Super Bowl contenders at all, but this isn't the first time where they've swung for the fences and getting a once in a lifetime generational talent They did this back when they got Reggie White, which that led to a Super Bowl with Brett Favre back in the day, and that changed the trajectory. I'm assuming that's why Packer fans are getting excited because they're
Right.
reminiscing of what they've done in the past.
Right.
So we shall see. We shall see. It's great for them. It's great for Micah because now he is the highest paid non-quarterback NFL player. So that was short-lived for TJ Watt, but we shall see. We shall see.
His back is looking very healthy. I will say that. That his back is looking very healthy. I don't know, maybe something in that Wisconsin cheese over there. Speaking of cheese, like you said, he's the highest paid non-quarterback now in the league. Well deserved too. But like you said, that's a surprise coming from the Packers. Packers aren't normally the type of franchise to be paying people like that. They did just pay Jordan Love, but he's a quarterback, so you're kind of handcuffed in that situation. You have to pay your quarterback. For Parsons, he had 52.5 career sacks in the last 4 years. He's only been in the league 4 years, which is incredible. If I have a little graphic here, he literally averaged at least 12 sacks since his rookie season, which is incredible. And he's 26 going into the prime of his career, and you give him up for 2 firsts and Pro Bowler Kenny Clark. And I keep using that in quotations because the last time he made the Pro Bowl was in 2023, but that was an injury replacement. He did not deserve to be there. But if you let Jerry tell it, he's a Pro Bowl type player. The last time he earned it was in 2021 and then in 2019 as well. If you look at his last 4 years, his production has been going down steadily. Last year, 37 total tackles, 1 sack. This is not a Pro Bowl type player. And he's either 30 or turning 30 this year. So I won't say he's at the end of his career, but he's definitely near it. This type of return for a generational type talent is a very huge fumble. Unfortunately, Dallas is very, very familiar with fumbling generational talent recently.
Ouch.
I just came out of Dallas yesterday, and it looked very somber. I will tell you that. It looked very somber. I have not seen one Cowboys hat, shirt, jersey, anything. Everyone's wearing Texas or some college stuff. Everyone's staying away from the Cowboys stuff right now. I think I've seen a bunch of 50% off on the windows. So it's looking bad in Dallas right now. It's looking bad in Dallas, and Jerry can't do anything but other than just try to justify it. But he doesn't care about winning, right? He's a businessman. He cares about money.
He cares about money. He can paint it however he wants to. It's not and the way he's justifying it is that he got a haul because he got 2 first-round picks and cap flexibility. Like, okay, well, you had cap flexibility when you had the chance to sign Derrick Henry, and I think that would have made a major difference back, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And they didn't pull the trigger. So, okay, Jerry, we'll just continue listening to you and see, just making fun of the Cowboys.
I don't know if you know, but apparently those 2 first-round Pro Bowl first-round picks can potentially be Pro Bowlers.
I think every pick in the draft can potentially be a Pro Bowler. I think that's how that works.
A boat is a boat, but the mystery box could be anything. It could even be a boat. So getting rid of Micah Parsons was probably the dumbest thing that we're going to see all of this NFL season. How that affects the Green Bay Packers. Now, I do agree I don't think they're Super Bowl contenders. I do appreciate the fact that they're going for it. You love to see that as a fan. I'm not a fan of the Packers, but I can imagine the elation that they have when this trade goes down. I do also have questions about Jordan Love. I do have a lot of questions about their wide receivers. Like you said, they got Matthew Golden in the first round. The first time they drafted a first-round wide receiver in God knows how long. Aaron Rodgers was begging for it for his whole career.
That's the crazy part. They did it for Jordan Love. Never did it for Aaron Rodgers. That's the wild part.
Right. So you do like to see that, but I don't think Matthew Golden is the answer for them, and I don't even think he was the best receiver available on the board. So that may backfire. Of course, they still have to play their game, so Let's see how it works out. But as far as their defense is amazing. They were 13th in passing yards for defense, 7th in rushing yards allowed, 6th in scoring allowed. They did lose Jair Alexander this year, but adding someone like Micah Parsons, somebody who has the most pressure since 2021. He has a 20.3 pressure rate since he's came into the league, averaged at least 7 pressures per season. This is a game changer. So to count them out completely would probably be a little reluctant on my part, but there's too many question marks for me to just throw them in there, and there's a lot of stiff competition. So I do like to see them go for it. I am excited for week 1, man. There's so much things that Micah Parsons is going to be a player to watch for sure. Speaking about players to watch, I wanted to go into 3 players that we are paying close attention to this season. We're going to go a little ping pong 1 for 1. So I'm going to let you go with the first one.
So my first player to watch, I'm going to stick it close to my heart. It's going to be DK Metcalf. Fresh start in Pittsburgh. He wanted out of Seattle. Now we have a DK Metcalf, Aaron Rodgers-led offense. I'm just curious to see how that's going to work, how we're going to feed him the ball, because we know Crash Out Metcalf is not so far away when he plays. But I'm excited. Dude is a beast. Yeah, honestly built like a beast. But that's going to be a fun watch for me every time I watch my Steelers play.
And Aaron Rodgers definitely likes to just hyper focus on his number 1 wide receiver. So I think DK is going to like that, get all that attention and targets and stuff like that. So that's a very good first player to watch. I'm going to go wide receiver with my first one too. It's going to be Triple Crown winner Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase is one of those generational talents, as we spoke of. My thing that I'm looking for is to see if he can keep up with it. He definitely has the talent to do it. The Bengals have a very bad defense, so he's going to have a lot of opportunities to do it. But being on the field a lot, coming off of the year that he came off of last year, there's a lot of pressure coming on to him. And I want to see if he's able to keep that up, if he's able to keep being not exactly a Triple Crown winner, but being that alpha number 1. They do also have a great number 2 in T. Higgins, who can take over games sometimes, especially if Jamar is getting double chained, if they're playing the shell defense, too high shell defense on him, making sure that he can't take the top off the defense and stuff like that. So that is going to be my number 1 player to watch. And we're going to be moving on to player number 2. Who do you have for player number 2?
So I have the bold decision that Atlanta decided to make in Michael Penix Jr. Make sure Penix Jr. Okay, just to make sure I say that correctly.
Give him the Penix.
Atlanta decided to pay Kirk Cousins. Last year, right? For 4 years, fully guaranteed, $100 million. In totality, it was $180 million. And then they decide to draft Michael Penix. I'm just curious to see if he can deliver on those expectations. His superpower was the way he can place the ball. He can pretty much just manage an offense. And they do have some weapons to help him. It looks like there's a possibility that they can be one of the best offenses in the NFL, but it just depends really on how he's going to be able to kind of step into this and go into it. And then Kirk O'Chains would just be in the background, kind of doing his thing and swag serving, every time Michael Penix decides to throw a few touchdowns down to Kyle Pitts. Might be the
count his money.
But, yep.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So he balled in college. He definitely balled in college his senior year. But he also did have a lot of injuries. Both of those legs, both of those knees. So is he able to hold up to a full season? We've seen him for a couple of games last year. So this is going to be the first year of watching him that first season. And like you said, he has some pretty good options on that offense with a Drake London. He got Bijan, who he can hand it off to or dump it off to. Bijan could do a little bit of everything. So that is a great number 2 player to watch. For me, I'm going to go with a quarterback, and I'm going to go with someone that we mentioned in the previous episode, Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence, who are you? That's what I want to know. Who are you? It's been 5 years, and I still don't know whether you're a good quarterback or not. And that's a problem coming as a number one overall pick, the number one generational overall quarterback type pick, where he was a can't miss prospect. And we're going into year 5, and he's done nothing but miss. He did have some decent years uh, between his second and third year, but even that, it wasn't enough to answer all those questions. It was kind of like a little teaser. It was just a little teaser. This year, they make that big trade to come up to get Travis Hunter. Thank you, Travis Hunter. And they're making a very big effort to keep him on offense and keep him as a wide receiver. And I think part of that is to try to help Trevor Lawrence, give him a nice number 2 option. But can he do it? Can he do it? That's what I'm trying to see. And if he doesn't do it this year, then I think I'm writing him off. I don't think he's a good quarterback. I think he's just going to end up being one of those journeymen after this.
Yep, he'll enter the bad contract talks.
Yep.
He also got paid big time.
Exactly. And the fact that they were willing to pay him that without really getting the answer of he's the guy, is he not the guy? But that's the Jaguars for you. We're going to go on to player number 3. Who you got for player number 3, my boy?
So I have the 2-time future Hall of Famer Lamar Jackson, 2-time MVP. This season, I mean, it's kind of, we've mentioned it before. Every season, the Ravens are top of the league. They're loaded. They're stacked. This year, Super Bowl or bust for Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. Obviously, I love the part where it's been bust every time, and hopefully he keeps that going. But honestly, I mean, Lamar Jackson is that dude. This year alone, he's gonna go into 100 career starts. He can possibly get to 200 career passing touchdowns, and then he's gonna surpass. Listen to this: surpass Ray Rice to become Baltimore's second leading rusher.
Jesus.
Possibly by week 1. That is unheard of. The running back, comparisons, not a running back, but not a quarterback, jokes that we like to throw around, especially in Pittsburgh,
right,
are true. But we also recognize that he is that dude, and he has a lot to answer this season to see if he can win the big game against the big bad Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah. Chiefs have definitely been a stronghold in that whole conference. And like you said, they're always on top. They're always on top, number 1, number 2, coming in with the best record, coming in with one of the best rosters, and hasn't even so much as made a Super Bowl. Not even win it, but just even make it to the Super Bowl, which is crazy because, like you said, like he's been one of the best quarterbacks, and he's been improving on his passing every year since he's been in the league, even throwing more passing yards and touchdowns than the MVP Josh Allen, which is going to be my third player, the fake MVP Josh Allen. Josh Allen it's the same thing that you're saying about Lamar. I'm going to put that right back onto Josh Allen. He has yet to make a Super Bowl. He's one of those players that is always highly regarded as one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and also has a great roster. I wouldn't say he has the best weapons. That is something that he has to kind of overcome. But even when he did have Stephon Diggs and them boys, he wasn't able to make it. So it's hard to put it on just his pieces, but his defense has always been there. His offensive line has always been good, and it's not like his weapons are bad. So if he's the type of quarterback that people are hyping him up to be, can he make it to the Super Bowl? Can he finally get over that hump? That's my player to watch, my third player to watch. So, yeah.
Josh Allen, and you watch a lot of him because he's in your division. I watch a lot of Lamar because he's in my division. Mm-hmm. So we know how good they are. We obviously hate from afar, but we wish that they were on our team.
Facts.
Type of players. Yeah, it's going to be a fun AFC this year.
Hell yeah. So speaking about players to watch and just quarterbacks in general, one thing that you brought up to me off camera, and I thought that was just a great observation that no one really talks about for some reason, and that's the Colts quarterback room. I know it's not a hot topic, but in 2019 they had one of the best quarterbacks in the league in Andrew Luck. He was an absolute baller, getting beat up every year, getting a lot of sacks, getting a lot of hits on him, but still balling his ass off. And since that retirement, though, I'm gonna have you talk about this carousel of quarterbacks here since 2019.
So when you think about carousel of quarterbacks, usually the Browns are like the first team everybody talks about.
Right.
So I was kind of curious to see, now that there's a different quarterback in Indianapolis, how far back did we have to go to see if Indianapolis had a good starting quarterback? And to my surprise, I had to go all the way back to Andrew Luck. And just reading off this, Jacoby Brissett, he was solid in New England, but of course, not really the guy. And they were put in a tough situation. They kind of had to go and get Jacoby. Then Jacoby started, I think it was 15 games. Brian Hoyer started one. Then we got Phillip Rivers, another bridge quarterback, end of his prime. Didn't really do much. They were somewhat okay that year, if I recall correctly. But in the playoffs, it's just all kind of came apart completely. And then we have Carson Wentz, which that was another reach by this Indianapolis Colts front office. And then we go into Matt Ryan, Nick Foles, Gardner Minshew, and then finally Anthony Richardson was selected with the 4th overall pick. Now, you would think with a pick this high, they would have all their quarterback issues resolved. Unfortunately for the Colts and for Jim Irsay, rest in peace. And now, and then Shane Steichen, that was his first year as head coach, named head coach, offensive coordinator, highly regarded for his play calling. So he was kind of like those new hot hires, like this guy's going to change the franchise. Let's pair him up with a quarterback. And then let me make sure I have his name correctly, is the GM, Chris Ballard, decides to pick probably one of the more needs a lot of work quarterbacks in the draft, in Anthony Richardson, to a team that already has hit like players that are on their second, third contracts. They had Jonathan Taylor. They have receivers. They have pretty much the defense. They have a nice, decent offensive line, and they decided to go with this rookie quarterback that needs a lot of work. And what do? They just throw him in there. They don't sit him for a few years, which that's probably what they needed to do. They don't give him the keys and just go with it and roll with it. Now, Anthony Richardson does have fault in this as well.
A lot.
But then that leads to where we are right now with the Colts and Colts fans. And I know they're just sharing their displeasure all over Twitter, especially on August 19th, when their head coach, Steichen, decides to say, hey, the behind the scenes that people don't see with Daniel Jones is his work ethic. Giants fans, let me know if that sounds familiar. The way he connects with his teammates. And we highlighted work ethic and connects with his teammates. That's a direct shot to Anthony Richardson, simply because we all know the tap. We know what that locker room kind of went under last year, where there is no leaders. You kind of just show up. Pat McAfee kind of went off on them. The fan base went off on them. There's just no leadership in that room. And then Steichen decides to name Daniel Jones their starter. Any thoughts on Daniel Jones being named the starter?
It's not ideal. I will say that. Now, I will say that he is a better option than Anthony Richardson, but there's a lot of better options than Anthony Richardson. It's not hard to find a better option than Anthony Richardson, who's either going to give you a less than 50% completion rate, or he's just going to injure himself because he's looking the wrong way. There's a lot of problems. You can kind of just nitpick him apart. But if you ask him, the NFL is easier than college. So he got it figured out.
So there's a lot of organizational pressure building within that Colts.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the owner now, which is Irsay's daughters, the fan base is just completely fed up again. So we shall see. I'm curious to see how this plays out for the Colts. Just looking from afar, the only reason this kind of piqued my interest is because the Steelers now are kind of entered into this whole quarterback carousel, and Aaron Rodgers now is our quarterback. Before that, it was Kenny Pickett, and then Justin Fields and Russell Wilson and Mr. Trubisky, and then the last few years of Ben Roethlisberger. So I was kind of curious to see who was on that same trajectory and who figured it out. And yeah, the Colts definitely did not. So we shall see. And I'm sorry, Colts fans. I'm sorry you guys are going through this. I'm sorry you guys have to watch Daniel Jones play. But if anything, you can always talk to your fellow Giants fan for some therapy.
and I like that you bring up the Shane Steichen hire too. He was one of those hot names that year coming out of the Philadelphia coaching staff, where that offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator were picked apart off of that team, and everybody was just vying for their jobs, and just how great these these coaches were, and how they're going to change these franchises. And honestly, even the defensive coordinator over there in Arizona, that's now the head coach, hasn't been doing so hot either. So there's something to say for these offensive and defensive coordinators that are great at being coordinators, but not exactly head coaches. And it's looking like Shane Steichen might be on that list. I do want to see what he does with Daniel Jones. Like you said, I'm going to be glued to that as well. I don't think Daniel Jones is great, but I think that he's a lot better than Anthony Richardson. They got a little bit, like you said, they had Jonathan Taylor. They have Michael Pittman. He was injured a lot last season, so maybe a healthy Michael Pittman coming back with Josh Downs and them boys. Maybe there's a little resurgence there. Who knows? This is definitely Shane Steichen's chance to prove that he is a head coach, though. So I do like this topic.
A lot of question marks in that division outside of the Texans, really, which I feel like that's never been said before, where the Texans are your true, got it figured out franchise. Jacksonville has their questions. The Titans, it looks like they got their guy, but he's a rookie. The games have to be played. I guess we'll find out. And then the Colts. So it's the Texans division to lose. That's what it's looking like.
And I don't even think the Texans are that good, but compared to these other three teams that they have in that division, they makes them look like the highest IQ players right now. So we're going to see what happens there, but we're going to hyper focus onto week 1 real quick, and especially one game in specific. We got the Steelers going against the Jets week 1. Let's get it. So I want to boast and talk my stuff, right? But at the same time, I'm scared as hell. I'm not going to lie. There's too many new pieces on both sides of the teams where I don't know how this is going to go at all. The only thing that I'm somewhat comfortable with is our defense, and I feel like it's kind of the same with you, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct. I completely 100% agree. I have no idea what type of season we're walking into. Obviously, as a fan, you're walking in hopeful that our offenses specifically are going to have it figured out. But it's going to be defense on defense. If we can take away the offenses and just have the defenses play, I don't know, like capture the flag or something, maybe that would be a better game. But we shall see. We shall see. Obviously I'm a root for my boys, and I'm sure you'll root for yours. So and right now Vegas got the Steelers as 3-point favorites, as they probably should. They're a little more established as just a franchise in general. So I could understand that, but I do think my boys are going to come away with the win. I do think it's going to be an ugly win.
I do think that neither of us probably score more than 20 points.
I agree.
I'm thinking a 16-19 type finish,
Yep.
and there's going
All
to be
field goals.
oh yeah, at least like 6 field goals. Like it's going to be ugly, but I'm gonna be glued to the TV because man, football's finally back. Football is finally back.
Finally back. It sucks that the first game does include the Cowboys and the Eagles, but whatever. We're getting real football on September 4th. But that Sunday Week 1 matchup, we're gonna definitely be glued to the TV and to our phones because I'm sure there's gonna be a little texting back and forth.
Oh yeah, trash talk for sure. Do you think so? Let's try to be a future tellers here. Do you think that Aaron Rodgers has a good game? I'll say it that way.
Yes.
Okay.
Simply because he does take care of the football. That's just the Aaron Rodgers thing to do. Yep. That he's going to throw for 300 yards and 3 or 4 touchdowns. The hell no. Right. I think there's going to be a lot of like, here you go Johnson, here you go Johnson, here you go Warren. A lot of running the football and then play action and get DK involved early.
A lot of DK.
Can on the sideline flying into the fans, or I don't know, maybe we'll have a replay of the Antonio Brown, kind of deucing out.
That'd be fire. It was against the Jets too. So if anyone knows how to do it, it's us.
Exactly. We'll be setting the tone early. So
yeah.
But I do want to say, I think it's going to be 2017. Steelers take the win. Okay. Probably a Justin Fields trying to win the game last drive, and it's going to end with our generational talent, TJ Watt, ending the game because we're not going to trade him to the Packers. Yeah.
But if they give you 2 firsts, though.
As long as we get Kenny Clark, he's a Pro Bowler, right? Yeah,
that's good. That's using your noodle right there. Kenny Clark puts it over the edge. Yeah, no, TJ Watt scares the hell out of me. I like our offensive line this year, but it is very inexperienced, especially with each other. We have somebody that is Amar Membu coming in as his second year. Actually, no, Membu is his first year. Alu Fashano, his second year. Joe Tippmann, we still kind of have a battle going on at center. Aaron Glenn hasn't committed to anybody. I'm thinking it's going to be Joe Tippmann. But I do like the pieces there, but there's going to take time for that to gel, and TJ Watt is just the perfect person to just take advantage of a situation like that.
As long as MetLife Stadium, the turf doesn't win, I think it's a win for both sides. Yeah.
That's our 12th man right there. That's our 12th man right there. We know exactly how to take Aaron Rodgers out. So coming off of us looking into week 1, we're going to go even further into the future here now. Going into our crystal balls, I want us to predict way too early Super Bowl predictions here. Who is going to make it to the Super Bowl this year, Super Bowl 59, and who's going to win it? So I will have you start first. Who are your 2 teams and who is your winner?
So I am going to go with a Super Bowl rematch of the rematch. It would be Eagles Chiefs Part 3, where I have the Chiefs actually coming out on top. So that's gonna be a fun one. I think it'll be a close game. I don't think it would be an ass whooping like this past Super Bowl. I do think the Chiefs did improve in the areas that they needed to improve, kind of like when they lost to the Bucs and they showed up their offensive line. I think they took the same measures. Plus, they pissed off Pat Mahomes, man, is something to deal with. Yes, they have to go through the Bills, the Commanders, the Ravens. But the Eagles also do have to go through the Lions, the Vikings, the Rams,
the Commanders.
The Commanders. Sorry, no, exactly. Yeah. I'm over here switching sides.
No, you're good.
Yeah, I'm getting too excited. But
Super Bowl, baby.
I think it's going to be a fun one. I know people get tired of seeing the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, but I mean, I was tired of watching the Pats in the Super Bowl, but we still watch them anyways, and that's done and over with. So now it's the Chiefs' turn to rise their kingdom. How their documentary is called,
Right.
Kingdom on the Rise or Kingdom or something.
Kingdom Come or whatever. But but as much as it hurts, I completely agree with the Chiefs side of the prediction. I mean, like you said, they do have to go through some teams like the Bills and the Ravens and them boys, but that's nothing that they haven't done already. They've taken care of them almost every single year.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So they're the big bad bully on the block for sure. But I do have a different team coming out of that conference, but same division. It's a little crazy, but I'm gonna go. The Chiefs beat the Commanders in Super Bowl 59. I get it. I get it. People seeing this right now, they're losing their minds. They probably writing Twitter fingers going crazy right now. But hear me out. Hear me out. Jaden Daniels was the best quarterback in all of the playoffs last year as a rookie. Now, him doing it during the regular season was definitely impressive, but when you get into the high-stake games against the type of competition that he had to go against, the Eagles being one of them, he balled out. And when they lost, it definitely had nothing to do on them. So I think him playing off of that last year, coming into this new year with a little more confidence, a little more understanding of the offense that he needs to run. They got him a decent number 2 in Debo. Health is always going to be a question when it comes to Debo. So is the Twinkies. He got to put down the weight a little bit. But but a good number 2 option nonetheless. They did get rid of Brian Robinson, sending him off to the 49ers. But they do have a lot of trust into their rookie Little Bill, Ja'Cory Crosby Merritt. They really like the kid. They like him a lot. They still have Austin Eckler, who's past his prime for sure, but he can still do the little things. He doesn't need to get the amount of touches that he did when he was in when he was in San Diego, but he can be in a role where he's a little more efficient with the kind of touches that he does have, and then have the rookie kind of grind it out in between the tackles. The defense got better. I did have something over here with the defense, the players that they added. There was why is his name slipping my mind? They got the linebacker from the Bills.
Edmonds?
It wasn't Edmonds. It was they got Bobby Wagner. They re-signed him. There was somebody else that they got from the Bills. That's crossing my mind. But regardless, they did strengthen up their defense. They got the extra pieces on offense that they needed. They traded for Laramie Tunsil to strengthen up that offensive line as well. And even though it is calling your shot for sure, I think the Commanders can get it done. They almost got it done last year. And improved on that team. I think the Eagles Super Bowl hangover is going to be real. I think there was a lot of touches put on Saquon Barkley, even though they rested him towards the end of last year. He still had to play in the Super Bowl and got in the playoffs and got a lot of touches there. He had over 400 touches in total of last year. He's on the Madden cover. Some people believe in the Madden curse, some don't. I'm one that believes in it. There's a lot of things running against him. A.J. Brown, the beef between him and Jalen Hurts always flaring up in the middle of the season. There's a lot working against the Eagles, but the Eagles have the roster to come back and do it. So I wouldn't be surprised if it is a rematch of last year. But ultimately, I think the Chiefs find a way to get it done. They got Rashee Rice coming back after week 7, who they did not have towards the end of last year or into that playoff run. I think all that time, Xavier Worthy got a lot of his run and started to get acclimated into the offense. So coming into year 2 for him, playing off of Rashee Rice, they got Travis Kelce still. And I think it sounds crazy. That's also going to be a big part of why they win it. I think there's too much money in the Chiefs winning, and just that Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift.
He has to pay for the wedding somehow, right?
Exactly. And it's going to be funded by the NFL. And it's hard to beat the Chiefs, but it's impossible to beat the Chiefs and the refs. And I'm just going to leave it at that.
Yep, just like the Patriots run, but that's
Exactly.
that's how it goes when you're on top of the mountain and a lot of things go your way. I wonder why that is.
But that's going to do it for us in episode 4. Thank you so much for coming out, bro. It's been fun. Fucking football is back. Football is back. I'm going to look into the camera.
I do want to add,
Yeah.
yo, Cowboys fans, good job on Kenny Clark, baby. Let's go.
Let's go. Kenny Clark jerseys. Let's go. I want to see them in the stands. If I don't see Kenny Clark jerseys in the fans, you're not a real Cowboy fan.
Yeah, nope. I need you in your little jean shorts and then some a long polo with your little cowboy stuff. That's right. Let's go.
Oh man. But that's gonna do it for us here, man. Thank you for coming out. Thank y'all for watching, and we out.